What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of Unapologetically Black, Never Broken, Always Empowered. I am Brittany, joined by my lovely co-hosts, Brittany, Rich, and Shay. We're gonna go that one. What's up? How y'all feeling? I can't hear you, Richard.
Where the sound go, bro?
Where the sound leave? We just talking. As soon as we get started.
Wow, the mic, like, I guess the signal doesn't love him. It's the same.
All right, what's on now?
There we go.
No. I know exactly what
it was.
My soundboard did that. I needed to switch my mic over.
Got you.
So
remember when you first got that joint and the sound was real?
Yeah, remember the gunshots that you heard?
Yeah,
that was my soundboard.
Who's shooting? What's good though? How you feeling, Rich?
I'm chilling. I'm just tired. I had a long day. Well, most of it was spent with my wife, but other than that, the day's been pretty good.
I feel bad. Brittany, how you feeling?
Good. I was taken to Hobby Lobby, so I'm great.
Yeah, you're the Hobby Lobby. You leaving Hobby Lobby.
Yes, love it. So I'm happy.
Shay, how you been? It's been a minute since we've seen you on this platform.
I'm tired, nigga. Is it Friday yet? Like I feel like today felt like a week already. Like I did so much shit between moving, studying for 2 finals, and work. But work I only did like 2. You know what I'm saying? I worked for like 30 minutes. I ain't gonna hold you. So they can't say like I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a deliverable to get away with it. But I did a lot of research too on like what my next tech job might be. I might go to tech sales or cybersecurity. So, I gotta make the money.
That's real. Cybersecurity.
What you in school for?
I don't know about tech sales, but cybersecurity makes good money. I'm sure it does as well.
I'm in school for IT, for information technology. Like I'm about to get a certificate because it's rolled into my plan. So one of the finals I gotta take is for the ITIL certification. I don't know how much of a pay bump it will give me, but I'm definitely going to go to my job and be like, so look, we should renegotiate because I got smarter recently.
I got smarter. I did things.
Hey, cybersecurity, that's money. Cybersecurity, they pay you top dollar for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know. But tech sales is also a high paying or has potential. It doesn't start off the same way that cyber does. Start off like decent, like higher pay, but you depending on how you finesse it, you know what I'm saying, how much you need salary plus commission plus whatever. I'm trying to get with a company so I can get equity in the company, or like a signing, like a good 6-figure or 5-figure signing bonus. That's what I'm trying to do. And it sounds insane to say because last year I wouldn't have had any concept that, I heard about it. It sounded like a fucking what is it? Was it like a myth? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a fairy tale. And now I'm in a position where it's like, oh no, like my next job could be that fairy tale that I was hearing about. That you think it only happens to one, like one person every couple hundred when it's happening to niggas every day in the tech industry. So
yes,
I'm not here to have a commercial, but
Well, I'm right along the same lines as y'all. I'm motherfucking tired. That has been the case for a minute. But other than that, I've been good. I've been working, growing and glowing. So let's jump into tonight's episode. The month of October, I kind of wanted to be as close to thematic to the spooky season. So tonight we're going to talk about cults and kind of Black cults, which we have Shay on because she's our resident expert in all things
cult-like.
It would more so be
like religious spirituality,
occult, esoterics. Like that is the area of my existence.
Exactly.
Because
and honestly, it wasn't until earlier this year when you had mentioned the Nature Boy cult as something we should talk about, right? Mm-hmm. That I even really realized that Black people be in cults, like that I even like wrap my mind around it, right? Because in my head, cults are like Scientology people, and like, you know, like, I don't know.
No, I mean that's a fact. But like, so one of the things that I wanted to touch on or make sure to touch on is that cult is just social culture. So anywhere you have a culture, you technically have a cult, but that's in the very pedantic literal definition of the word, right?
Right.
What we understand as a cult is a group of people that come together, and normally there's a manipulative, a predatory relationship happening, and some deviancy, and normally it has to do with some form of spirituality, personal development, and or religion. So
politics as well, apparently.
Yeah, or politics, because you know, one could say however you align with your political ideology, you might be in a cult. You know what I'm saying? Or like literal groups formed around ideologies, etc.
So, because that was going to be my question: is being in a cult inherently bad?
Negative.
No, I don't think. I mean, so that's why I just broke down the definition, because I think it, I'm gonna say that as somebody who, when you get into spirituality, or even if you are religious, I think it is important to look at the words and know what they literally mean, like, and then also understand how they use. So if I say use cult as short for culture, which it is, technically there's a cult of something happening all the time.
Yeah,
that's more than two are gathered in His name. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You and you're proclaiming a thing, or you all behave in a certain type of way. You all dress a certain type of way. This is culture. So technically, a group of people is a cult by definition. Now, are they a cult by what we define, what the FBI might define it as, or the CIA might define it as, or Jonestown or Heaven's Gate, all that stuff? Not necessarily. You enter the realm of that line when there is a certain characteristics there. And so I don't know that it's necessarily bad to be in a cult in a sense. And I think that a lot of times people call things cults in a pejorative term, with how the FBI, CIA, and all that would classify something as a cult. I think people call it that when they don't understand what it is too.
Right.
What it is that you're doing. Like
when I hear it, I think of stuff like, like you said, like right wing extremists, as I said, they're a cult. Or different. People don't really, from what I've come to understand, people don't really take church. It's like normal Christians going to church on Sundays. They don't call them cults, even though they are. They don't call them that. When they talk about cults, they talk about like bad, small spiritual stuff, people doing crazy shit type of stuff.
Right, and that's why I say in a pejorative sense, because that's what it is. It's when they start doing stuff that we perceive as negative on a big scale,
or a societal scale,
or
like
a
single human.
Yeah.
Because from society's point of view, although church and state are separate,
right?
I mean, we'll respect other religions, but not you worshiping that nigga. Who is that nigga?
Yes. So I had this experience, right? So like now I practice my primary, I'm gonna say religion for lack of a better word, but Ifa contains religion. It is not just religion. I practice Ifa. Now when I was younger, like I'm talking about mad young, one of my older sisters, she had went to Africa. She had started getting into Ifa. I didn't know what it was back then when I was younger. But she had started getting into it. And my mother and father used to be like, oh, your sister over there doing that cult stuff. Like she joined the cult because it's weird to them. They see people dressed in white all the time. They get these African names. They going over Africa, getting their hair shaved off. And now they, acting weird or behaving weird. Oh, they got these altars and these they come back with these African tools and all of this stuff. We're wearing all of these beads and stuff. We don't know what this means. This isn't in our context of it, even though it's there. It's there. It just looks different, right? Idols.
Did your parents go to church?
Yeah, my parents. I grew up Baptist.
I think anything that is just different is going to catch. Anything that's different is going to catch a negative title in any way when people can't understand it. So it's like, oh, you follow this person. Oh, you worship this. Oh, you're in a cult. Or how is that any different than what you do as a Christian? How is that any different than being a Muslim? I don't, to me, it's no different. It's, I feel like there's healthy and then there's just abusive cults.
Right. So there's that's the side of a cult that's the only side that, you know what I mean, that you hear about. That's the negative side. That's the, everyone's drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. But you had that happen one time where everybody in that was stupid, by the way.
It's not one time though. It's just one time.
That's what I say. Mass suicide and cults that was not one time. That was just the biggest.
That was the biggest one. Yeah. But you hear about it and you're like, oh shit, it's a cult. Every cult is like that. No, it's not. There's things in some Christians where they only wear skirts. Women can only wear skirts. They can only they can only speak when spoken to. Men can only, men can have all of these wives and stuff like that.
Very Old Testament, which you
paying tithes and offering every Sunday, even though you're broke and you've been doing it for 40 years in the church.
Nothing's paid off yet. That karma ain't hit yet.
I mean, the interesting thing is talking about specifically Christianity or any religion, because you could say the NOI is a cult. People call it that. I don't necessarily frame it as that, but
Nation of Islam, because Rich has a blank.
Oh, okay. The Nation of Islam, or you got Hebrew Israelites, right? Which is not Muslim, but they are. They would more so be under a Jewish, Christian kind of ideology. You got, which I actually got them on the list for black cults. You have all of these different branches of Christianity, and some of them actually are cults. So the Waco standoff that happened some years ago, that they were called the Branch Davidians or something like that. They were a cult. They were a Christian cult.
Yeah, I would also say, as someone who was raised Catholic, arguably worse than any Christian denomination church I've ever attended as a guest. In general, the Pope, right, is the head, the HNIC, right? He is the only person who has a direct connection, prophet to God. You can talk to the priest. The priest kind of has a little leeway there, but it's the Pope, all holy one. Always a white man, other than the one Hispanic man who was white appearing in that position. And it's just, if you've ever been to a Catholic mass, it is very ritualistic. You stand up certain times, you kneel at certain times. Everyone knows when to stand, when to kneel. If you don't know, you stand the fuck out. You're in and out in 45 minutes. You're drinking the blood and eating the body of Christ, and you out.
So that's what's weird. It's like there's sacrifice, the blood sacrifice, right? But not human. I'm being gentle with my words because these things have to go somewhere, and I also don't want people to misunderstand and bastardize what it is I'm talking about, because it's very sacred, the process. But when you say that, or when people find that out, oh, how could they do that? That's so crazy. This blood sacrifice stuff, but you're eating the body, right? Like it's metaphorical, but at one time, this was not seen as so metaphorical, symbolistic. He died on the cross. That is a blood sacrifice. Just stop. We playing games. You're trying to. A lot of people just don't have context, right, and understanding for what it is that they read it, because they read that Bible, they read that thing, and they see all the pretty words, but they don't know what it means. That's one. Then,
or they know what it means, but they put it in a way that is going to be good for their religion or for what they're trying to go against. A lot of the times is, you shouldn't, sexuality is supposed to be this way. A man should act this way, but y'all take in Tyler Perry. That type of stuff, you make the words sound pretty when you want to. You make it fit in your own thing.
Mm-hmm. We're not gonna bash Tyler Perry here, okay? We like Madea. We like Tyler Perry.
No, I don't.
No, I don't.
Love
for me.
I
like some of the plays. The movies are garbage. No, I don't. It's the same shit every time.
That's accurate, but
it is the same shit every time. It is. He was doing good at first, and then it just
got real repetitive. And it's the same actor, so it makes it even more repetitive.
And I can watch the plays; they're a lot better than the movies.
Yeah.
Right. But to your point, which you were saying earlier, Britt. Yes, you. Is that Black cults are not well known simply because they're usually an offshoot of something, of a, I'm gonna say, a conscious community or spirit or a lesser known spirituality kind of ideology. I mean, generally all cults have some type of ideology, right? Most big ones have personal development behind them. So you might have NIXMI, the one that the shorty from Smallville got caught up with a couple years ago, and they made that documentary on HBO. So you have personal development cults, right? They take away, it's still religion, but it's religion without a God, right? So it's the universe. It's
more spiritual.
It's fine for saying, and this is not against anybody who says the universe, who honors the universe over a God. Right. I'm not comparing the two and saying one is bad. I'm just speaking to their characteristics would be the universe or the manifest. Or you might even have they talk about the vortex sometimes. You got a lot of new age ideas in these personal development kind of cults. Mm-hmm. And then you have your religious ones, which all mostly per capita are some version of Christianity. It's or some version of New Age stuff and Christianity.
Yeah.
And then you have this smaller sector of, well, I'm gonna say where the Black folks tend to land. Not that the Black folks don't be in the bigger cults, right? Because Jonestown had a lot of Black people in it. The dude Osho, he got a documentary on Netflix. He wrote a lot of books in the spirituality and New Age space, but he was a fucking freak. They all be freaks, whatever. He had a lot of Black people following him, right? So I'm talking about a specific, like where we would probably land is in the conscious community, and then within the conscious community they have cults, right? And it's mostly centered around Black people being the original people, God, etc. That is the ideology you'll hear. You'll hear some New Age stuff because whether it's religion, New Age, spirituality, whatever, it all goes back to the same. It's different lenses on the same information, essentially. And so you'll hear very similar things amongst all of them. But in the conscious community or these New Age people, you hear how the Palladians and the aliens and the reptilians and the this and the that is coming back and gonna save 144,000 people and shit like that. You'll hear shit like that. But in the Black people, it's centered around us being the original people. I know I said a lot. Y'all like
I'm learning a lot through it.
Honestly, I'm struggling to breathe. So like my mouth being open is that's an issue with that.
That's not you zoning out. That's you trying to breathe.
I'm just trying to breathe. I really
trying to stay alive.
But
as you know, Black people, we tend to frown on the cults and different things like that, not realizing that we are in one, even if we didn't sign up for it. Because I do believe that Christianity is, a cult, but it's a positive one when you allow it to be. But it's like we teach our kids, and they were taught from their moms. Their moms taught, all the way down to even just our child. Oh, we pray before we eat, type thing. And we do this, but then it's sometimes I'm like, but do I do it because of the religion or what I'm taught?
Right. Do I believe, truly?
Do I truly believe this, or am I only doing this because of what I was taught? And then do I only know this side of the scripture because of what I was taught, or do I actually know it? I have to do a lot of research. I have to read my Bible for what it is to, get the real gist of it. Because some of it, I believe, is worded wrong, even as the preachers spewing it out. And then they leave. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that I think that's why a lot of people don't read their Bibles or choose not to, because they're going to start reading it and then they're going to start realizing shit's not adding up. Things don't make sense, or my understanding is completely different from your understanding. And now we got an issue because we read the same Bible, same book, same verse. We got two different meanings from it. Mm-hmm. And so now we have to go and say, okay, well, what's this guy's meaning? And pastors, at least, typically back in the day, actually went to school. Most of them went to school to learn what it meant. And so then that's how you created different versions of Christianity. What was Baptist, and then what's Methodist, and then what's this. And
then it only takes for you to read it, interpret it differently, and decide, well, I'm going to just create my own group of people who believe the same thing I do, who read it and interpreted it the same way I did.
Same way.
But then you can fuck up your whole reality.
Yeah, and it's written in so many different ways that we don't know exactly how Jesus or God wanted it to be seen, because man has interpreted it in their mind and whatever it is, and they leave out so many things, because we'll be like, okay, well, it says for those who gather. I do not know Bible scriptures, so I'm not going to say it verbatim. But
we've only had one episode where Bible scriptures were quoted. That shit went loud.
I'm not gonna do that. But it's like, you come to worship to those who gather, and some people are like, oh, that means we have to gather in a church. But there's also a scripture in there that says you can praise him in a closet. And everybody's like, you never hear anybody talk about it.
You're chastised for not going to church every Sunday.
So
I'm justifying why.
Sermon, like you said, it depends on the sermon, right? It depends on who's speaking, right? And so one thing you said, Rich, going back to what you said, is, it's not a disagreement. It's more like anytime you have a book or you have an authority figure, right? Pastor, book, whatever, telling you that do not lean on your own understanding.
Lean on me.
It is so. Yes, there is a place where people don't read the Bible because it's just easy to hear somebody tell you what's in it, right? Mm-hmm. It's especially lazy thing. I trust this person. I've been told to trust this person in front of me. Read it. He know it. He can't lead me astray, can he? Nobody thinks about that, right? Right. And then you have this. You have it written in there in this authoritative quote unquote book to not lean on your own understanding. So your God is telling you you're not smart enough. You're not holy enough to understand what I've written in this book. I can't in good faith follow anything that says that, because
I created you, but not smart enough to understand shit.
To understand. So why is it that you give? Hold up. You mean to tell me? So who's these niggas saying they getting revelations from you and setting up their own religion there? Because this is totally different from what you got in the book. But also, is it though? And that's another. I don't want to get stuck on Christianity in itself, but this is the problem with religion, is that these cults are not doing anything devoid of some of the texts that they read in. They're not doing things. So you got cults that the leader is pedophilic. Well, I could show you in the Quran where Muhammad took a wife that was like 9, something like that. Aisha was not that old. I could show you in the Bible where you got what we would call pedophilia. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? I'm not saying it's okay or justified because it's in a book. I'm saying that there's actually a problem with believing that the book is the authority of anything. A book is the authority on anything when it was written when originally it was written in 3 different languages, one of which we don't have at all. We do not speak Aramaic, or we don't speak Sumerian either, which it was written in, and we only have Greek and Latin. And do you speak any of those?
No.
So even when they go to school, they're still learning from somebody telling them what the scripture says.
So whose understanding am I supposed to listen to? Because if I'm not supposed to listen to my own understanding, how am I supposed to listen to your understanding? And then whose understanding did you get it from? But I think that is a thing that is starting to spiral a lot of people nowadays.
It is.
Because even back in the day, like you said, pedophilia, it wasn't pedophilia. It was, okay, I'm going to marry my daughter off, and she's 9 years old, and that way that husband can groom. But that was in the religion. And because because man then said, I don't think that's right, and slapped the name pedophilia on it. Now it's wrong. So how do we keep up with what is right and what is wrong? You sit here, you tell us, oh, you shouldn't do this until you're married. You shouldn't do that until this and that and the third. When was marriage incorporated into the Bible? But people were still being born.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't they?
Yeah.
So
honestly, smaller siblings, for real, those exist.
And then it's like, well, God say you shouldn't cheat, but then this man had a wife over here, and then had kids everywhere. So was Papa a Rolling Stone, or was Papa doing what God said?
God said,
right? Because I watch a lot of paternity court. And every man who got all these kids saying, well, God said be fruitful. Not you.
I'm
talking about you.
Because
there's an entire period where the Catholic Church ran the world. Like, it was the priest's word. What he said went. And it was so, and there's literally historical evidence of preachers literally just ruining countries left and right because they just, they controlled it.
Because they're humans.
Yeah, because they were corrupted humans who like, oh, I'm the priest. God said you're gonna give me all the clothes off your back, or he gonna smite you down. God said,
we need this building fund.
Yeah,
I need this Rolls Royce right quick. God said,
and then it's like, and then
God want me to have a private jet, Joel Osteen.
And we follow these people who, you have the jets, you have the Rolls Royces, you have everything, but your followers don't have any of this. And it's like, oh, well, we do give back to the community. Do you really? Do you give back to the community
on Thanksgiving?
They do.
They do the lock-in trick-or-treat.
I see Candy Birds giving out more turkey bags.
Holy weed, whatever.
Right. And it sucks because there are people who actually do good and give
with their
back
money,
because there's so many, or at least the big ones are so bad, and then you're like, shit. And it's almost like you put them all in a bowl together. Where if a pastor gets money,
because you cannot. I mean, that's why I was saying morality in that religion episode. Morality is subjective. It's just all up to how we observe things and how we live by our own internal code. Because the things that you describing don't sound no different from people who start cults, literally. Which is why you saying that. I get what, which is why you saying that.
Yeah,
it's a cult in and of itself, and hopefully it's helping people see that. But like, it's the same stuff. The pastors are no different from cult leaders saying that, hey, I got this revelation from God. I need this. We going over here. Whatever their scripture is.
I need you to pay this. I need you to follow me here. I need, like Brittany had said earlier,
savings, right? So we can do X, Y, Z, and that I think that's what be getting people. But I don't understand if in the church I'm giving over my whole life savings 10% of the time when it really don't say you got to tithe. 1, 2, versus give a cult leader asking for my whole life savings up front. Like, what's the difference? I'm still getting work.
Right.
That,
especially if you're not doing with it what you said you would do with it. Building fund, and we still got to build it from 1938. Same dough now. It'd be different if you were actually doing it.
If there was some price, there was some
AV system. They got a new AV system.
Right. They upgraded the microphone.
Right. I heard of, especially like these pastor appreciations. I get it. You want to appreciate your pastor, things like that. I've heard of pastors saying, oh, yeah, thank y'all for this Louis Vuitton. But you got a hungry person over here. This person's lights getting cut out, but you got a new Louis. The church went and got you a Louis. That's how much money you got. Okay, we got that. To me, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right. But then it also has a cult feel, because it's like I've also experienced where it's like, okay, well, this pastor isn't doing it for me. He's not giving me the word. Or I'm out of town and I need to go to church, but I'm out of town for a long period of time. But people are like, but I can't go to church because I'm loyal to this church over here. If we are all getting the same word, if we're all getting the same, praising Jesus the same way, why can't I go into another church without feeling like I betrayed my pastor?
Right. Or getting all the crazy looks, or feeling like I gotta go up on stage when they say who all's and who here. I just want to sit in the back and hear.
I just want to sit in the back. Listen, I came here for the same reason y'all here. Why I gotta announce that I'm new? Why do I have to go up and y'all gotta tell me about your church? Your church should be no different than the church in my hometown. But it's not, because everybody sees everything differently.
Yeah, but it's some rituals that are going to be the same. And so here's the biggest, this is the biggest way that church gets you. And any I'm gonna say religion or cult or group that contains this element is going to have you under mind control. And sure, your idea of mind control could be somebody spinning a little wheel, you are getting sleepy, all that shit. That's not, mind control is much simpler than that. Anything that has high emotionality and music behind it, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for you and your brain, or your mind, I should say. It's a wrap. Especially if you go there seeking something, needing something, hurting.
You're already feeling you already hurt in some way.
That's kind of like, what is it, Travis Scott with
his like carnival style.
Right, but they were saying when people died at at Astro World, right? They were saying, I was watching videos on it, that like the tonality of the music that was playing had people feeling very anxious and like, like it just wasn't giving good vibes. And then, everything starts up and you're telling, niggas to jump up and down. And it was just very like she said, mind control, without you realizing that's what it is.
But everything has a mind control in it. Everything to me has some type, even working on your 9-to-5 job. They try to tell you, oh, you're a good worker. You're needed here, but we need this done. and they tell you,
or you can't talk to people about how much you make, although it's not in any way, shape, or form illegal to talk to people about how much you make.
Right. And they scare you out of a lot of things. Oh, don't go to HR about that because then people gonna see you this way. Everybody has a mind control type situation in every shape or form of the world.
But that's why I started this off by saying cult is short for culture, because anywhere you have a culture, you have a style of dress, you have a way of speaking, you have things like rituals and behaviors that you have to do. By definition, you have a cult.
Some form of gatekeeping.
Yep.
There's some form of gatekeeping in every culture.
Yep. And before we get away from it, because I know Brittany wanted to talk about Black cults.
Yeah.
Specifically. And trust Christianity is probably the biggest one.
I was gonna say organized religion aside.
Organized religion aside. I did pull up a couple. And we can we could touch in a couple, I'm gonna say big ones. There were some smaller ones that I found through true crime stuff that I couldn't get back to or whatever. I couldn't find in a short period of time. The first one is the Nation of Yahweh. He was led by this dude. His name is Hulan Mitchell. He went by Akmosha at some point, but he ended up changing his name to Yahweh, being Yahweh. Again, he was a Black supremacist, Black separatist, but he started actually as a Kojic member. He was he went to Church of God in Christ, and they're super religious. Like they are, they them niggas that men and women have to sit on different sides of the pews. Women should wear dresses. That they got that whole thing going for them. And then at some point he decided to join the Nation of Islam. But he was always doing like he was always like a criminal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He decided to join the Nation of Islam at some point. And then then he went into Black Israelites. Like so he was I guess you could say a person who's trying to kind of find his way around or whatever. And eventually, I guess him and this other dude was like, "Yo, you got a sign from God," because that's how it go, right? They're always getting a sign from God. And then he formed the Yahweh ben Yahweh. The Nation of Yahweh, because he proclaimed himself as the Son of God, and that's always a part of it too, right? They the sons or the daughter of God, or God is speaking.
They're the chosen one. They're the prophet. They're
and then at some point. So he was always racketeering. There's always prostitution with the women in the entity or whatever. At some point they killed somebody. It was like two murders. One resulted in somebody being decapitated, I believe, or whatever. And that's how he got caught up and arrested or whatever.
That's how he got caught up.
Arrested? He should have been killed.
You said what?
He should have been killed. They should have gave him the needle. Jesus.
Let me see. I got the thing pulled up now. I'm trying to see his death. He died at the age of 71. Location not disclosed. So he wasn't in custody when he died.
That's too long.
Yeah, it says Yahweh will be remembered and mourned by millions of people that he touched through prayer and teachings. That's what his mother said.
Shut up, Richard.
So yeah, that's Yahweh ben Yahweh. And then I guess I'll say, well, Black Hebrew Israelites, for those of you who have not been yelled at on the street corner, is a group of Black people who believe that we are the descendants of the Adam and Eve was Black, and we are really if God still considers Israel his people, we are the Israeli. We are.
I would like to take this time to say that we do not believe that as a podcast. Just because Jewish people are quick to cancel anybody.
Hey, we are not
real estate agents, people that own everything.
We're just relaying the information. Okay,
this is
don't cancel us. We just got started.
Right, because it's the Black Israelite groups and that kind of mentality that like Nick Cannon got canceled for a minute. You know what I mean? Like that exact, like, we are the original. That's the same shit Kanye said. Just know these aren't our personal beliefs.
Saying that we the original is not saying, you know what?
It's not. I don't think it's anti-Semitic. However, they do. So I would just throw it out there.
They do.
People got their own feelings. I
don't know if you ever looked at the word Semite though in the definition. I don't know. Maybe y'all should look at what it means to be Semitic, because it says Afro in the dictionary, in that definition somewhere. It does.
I just don't want to be canceled.
Oh no, I'm not.
That's why I said let me preface this conversation with.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying why they have this hard on for it, because when you look up the definition says, and we didn't write the definition.
It says relating to or denoting a family of languages that include Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, and certain ancient languages such as Phoenician and Akkadian, constituting the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family.
Motherfuckers don't even know what they're doing.
Words.
Okay, just putting words together at this point.
Words.
So I don't know. I think Webster's dictionary was around a long time.
Yeah, this came from Oxford.
Yeah, the Oxford dictionary. I mean, it's the definition, so it can vary. But anyway, that's what they believe. They believe that the original people were black. They believe that the first people on the planet were black. I don't know so much that that's the problem that Jewish people have. I think is because they believe that some version of the first people were black, because they believe that we are descendants of the tribe of Ham, which is the son of Noah that everybody hated, that was cursed.
I think it's the aggression that they have with it. Like the ones that believe that it's the aggression of believe.
Getting yelled at on the street corner. That is the thing in Chinatown. Like,
so
the people, sister. Okay, sir.
Yeah, it's the
got it.
They are very militant in their belief. They're very Old Testament. I can't say that they don't believe in the New Testament, but if you hear them on the street, like if you live in a popular city, you've seen the Black Hebrew Israelites on the corner. They normally have them on like green, sometimes green. I think I've seen them.
They're the ones yelling out of the bullhorn.
Yes, they're the ones yelling out the bullhorn, and you don't know what they're saying, but they sister, brother, yes, just through the you know what.
I just want them to stop yelling.
They can't.
It's intense. They have to share the word as loud as they can.
As loud as they, because it's not
each one teach one. It's yell at everybody.
It's a thing of sharing, and it's a thing of getting on my damn nerves.
They personally antagonize LGBT people. They personally antagonize women that they feel like are not dressed appropriately or are single mothers. I've seen. I mean, if a man decides that they want to get into an argument with them, they'll argue with them. But if you look like a straight, if you're cishet. If you look that way, if you present that way, then you will have generally no issues out of them unless you bring the mess to them. If y'all together and they perceive you as being a cuck in any way. Can I say that? I probably can't say that.
Yeah, I mean, you can
say what?
You gonna make us say it again?
I don't want to explain what that. We can't explain what it really means. But you were not manly, like your wife ran a relationship, then y'all would probably get yelled at.
Yeah. Another cult that I kind of came across that I thought like their main ideology was crazy, because it is a Black cult. Crazy. It's called the 12 Tribes. It started in 1970s. People are still.
That's the one that I could. Go ahead.
Actively in it, but one of their main ideologies is that they believe that Black people are cursed to be subservient to white people. believe that we are meant to be slaves, and continue to foster that ideology into their followers.
Uncle Ruckus is the founder.
That has to be.
Has to be right.
Has to be Uncle Ruckus,
okay.
founding father.
Uncle Ruckus, because he got Delegato, whatever he said.
Next up, I'm gonna save the best for last, or the one that I was actually a part of. Not a part of, like I joined. Not a part of, like I joined, but like I seen it happening in real time, and it's still unfolding. So, and it's probably the biggest one, I'm gonna say, except for the Black Hebrew. Like you can't beat out the Black Hebrew Israelites, but so the next one is the Nubian Nation, and they were formed by Dwight York, or they call him Malachi Z. York, or whatever. Again, went through. He was like more conscious than religious. Like, so when I say conscious, I mean like Black spirituality. This is kind of the same premise, but not in the religious. It's just not religious. You'll hear people in the conscious community reference religion the same way I'll talk about religion, break it down, dive all through it. That's a part of it, because you learn that religion is not necessarily as fake as phony as people would like it to believe it is. It's just not the whole picture as it's claiming to be. And so they would call themselves Moors because they also practiced what's it called? It's escaping me, but it's a branch of Muslims that call themselves Moors. They go back to ancient Africa, so they practice Cometicism, and also dealt with the extraterrestrial stuff. So like they believe that we are an extraterrestrial alien. We're aliens essentially that came down here to.
Every time I hear the word extraterrestrial, I sing it in Katy Perry's voice. Continue.
So they believe Black people are aliens?
So yes. Okay. So there's in New Age spirituality, in the conscious community, in conspiracy theory land, and I'm gonna say that as a religious conspiracy theory land, you have this concept that aliens exist, right? So you have in conspiracy theory land, the reptilians are aliens. They are the elites, and they eat people and all types of stuff. In the conscious community, you have the concept of the reptilians and all of that there, but mostly you'll have, so in New Age, you'll have that everybody comes from a different star systems, and white people come from the Palladians and da-da-da-da-da. The Black people have that sort of same thing. And that all of the gods, and there's a concept that all of the gods and goddesses that we know of are technically aliens. So when they explain the giants in the Bible and stuff like that, they're talking about aliens. We just called them gods. Sounds insane. But
yeah. My ex was really into ancient alien theory, and we used to watch like those shows all the time.
Yeah. I mean, so that same concept it's not. I would just tell you this is not reflective of the podcast. I believe the aliens do. I believe that aliens are what anybody necessarily is claiming them to be. Not necessarily. I don't think that I think more in the Dr. Malachi York lane is that they're not some things with bobble head, sort of
right
and whatever. Think about the word alien and how we use it outside of the context of something that exists in space.
Right. We use it as an undocumented citizen or undocumented, person.
Right. So many things can fall under the classification of what an alien is. Do I think that there are beings that exist other places? Absolutely.
I'm more like Dr. Neil. I believe like if aliens did exist, they wouldn't fuck with us, no way, because we're literally like on the lowest spectrum of life.
Yeah.
They wouldn't fuck with us.
We're actively fucking up the planet, the only planet that can support our life. That we're trash. Like to them.
They be like, wait, y'all killing yourselves on purpose?
Right.
Like y'all mean it too? Hey, don't worry about it. For your 1700th birthday, I'll buy you Earth. They'll be gone. Don't worry about it.
I think it's human deprecation to do that, because I just, you never know. You never know how fucked up shit is somewhere else until you get there. But and then the last cult, and I got to see this one blowing up over the years, is they first was called Melanation, and then they changed their name to Carbonation, and the leader is called Eligio. He did gay porn. He did all types of shit, man. And I'm talking about before he became a cult leader. At some point, he started getting into the spirituality and consciousness and all of that. And I guess he decided that he knew the information so well that he would be the return of Christ, because that's who he believes himself to be, which is why he called himself the Three God. And y'all can find out more about, like, this story is still unfolding because he just got arrested like last year or whatever for like a lot of rape cases, false imprisonment, stuff with minors that he's been accused of. He got a bunch of stuff
releasing sexual videos without consent, et cetera,
yeah. But when you the crazy thing is, when you see, you have to go on there, you have to go online and see how his followers respond to him. It is like, it's scary to watch. It's like watching robots. Did you watch any of the videos, Britt?
Yeah, I've seen that.
And they be like 333. He'd be like 3 God 30, and they just go like they like
yeah,
it's crazy.
Attention. They like immediately. No, it absolutely is crazy. There's one other cult. Now this one is in Africa, and there are a lot of cults in just Africa as a whole. But this one in particular I wanted to mention because it is of, I think it was May of this year. 73 Kenyans had starved themselves to death. It's called it's a starvation cult, that they are being told that if you starve yourself to death, you will go to heaven. And it's being investigated now. But yeah, in May, 73 people dropped dead of starvation in an attempt to go to heaven, which is crazy. I had a couple like just kind of fun, is this a cult or is this not a cult questions to kind of wrap things up with. So do you guys, yes or no, we don't even have to have a full debate about it, do you believe that Trump supporters are in a cult? And not all Trump supporters. I'm talking about the Capitol storming, Truth Social using, diehard, delusional Trump supporters. Are they in a cult or not?
Yes, but I also feel like the Trump haters, the extreme ones, the ones that would be like their mirror image,
are also
in the same cult.
But I would say, arguably though, is there a leader in that, or is it's a reaction to?
I think Trump is their leader too.
Yeah, Trump leads them people. Definitely.
I think that they're stupid. I think, and hear me out, okay? I don't think it's necessarily a cult thing. I think they really, I guess it would fall up on it a little bit, but I think that they thought that Trump was going to allow them to be able to say and do whatever they wanted to do.
Oh, he allowed them. The law did.
Yeah, but well, yeah, that too. But like back in the day, you can call a nigga if you want to on the streets. You can, say and do and be however you want it. Trump allowed them to be their free selves.
Or felt comfortable, yeah.
Or feel comfortable in, what they thought or what they have been taught in their culture. So their cult.
While we talking about cults, though, I touched on a conspiracy theory. Some part of people being Trump fanatics is because they thought that he was going to expose the Illuminati, the reptilians, and all of that stuff. Some of them are
they went into it
hard hands because they thought that he was getting rid of deep state.
the group that he's a part of, why would he expose them?
Because they because they think that because he wasn't a politician, naturally a politician, that he was the monkey wrench in the system without realizing that he was a celebrity, so he would be a part of the same system that it's not logical.
Which is why I say it's
long as they know that.
If you can't put logic to it, but you're emotionally responding, or if any person can land you in jail for the next, just off of, and I don't know you personally, but you told me to go do something and I went and stormed the fucking Capitol and now I'm in jail. That's a cult to me. I don't know you.
But I think there's a cult of Obama too.
I mean, I think, to me, and we talked about, what's the definition? Is there positive? Is there negative? But like focusing on the negative, like the cults that do negative and inspire negative actions. I mean, arguably, I would say that's more of a cult than like Obama followers.
I mean, I think it's just that I think we would just get into what politics or what someone's own opinion, like suggestive morality, because I can look at there's a lot of shit that Obama did that was actually terrible, but he did it behind a smile.
I don't think you can become the president of a country without subjective morality. Like there are definitely groups of people that you're going to hurt on your way to being the president. So there's no way of becoming president.
I think that's politics.
Politics, period. Yeah, that's what
I think it's probably because even when you're trying to be like chief of police or things like becoming a judge or whatever, it's like you have to do certain things even when it's against your morals. You still have to do it to make the people say, "Oh, okay, well, they should be chief of police because they stood really, really strong on getting the drugs off the street." Right. They put people in, they made this big drug bust and put the people in for damn near forever. And the whole time the people didn't have but like an ounce of damn weed. And you like, oh, that big bust. But they have to do that to get people on their side. And when you do it, you have to, it's going to hurt somebody or a lot of people. Yeah. And that's the only way you're going to be able to get in anyway. I think it's all corrupt.
Would you on the flip side, would you consider like the Beehive, the intense ones, like the Swarm type hosts, or the Barbs?
I was getting ready to say the Barbs. So I believe like we can just go out for Beyonce by herself right now because they just had a situation where the girl who decided to yell while she was here in Houston during the mute challenge. These people are freaking calling this girl's job, then got her fired from work, then got her stuff shut down.
I don't know what that fucking far.
Yes, it was a whole thing because you messed with Beyonce. I will see how that could be cult related, but I do feel like that there's just some people that take shit way too far. Yeah, because I don't believe that Beyonce was like, hey, that bitch yelled.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think Beyonce cared. Yeah, she was singing the song.
Beyonce was like, she didn't even hear it.
The problem with Nicki Minaj's fans and the problem with Beyonce's fans is they are so like the diehard ones that we talk about, the culty ones that we're talking about, the Swarms and whatever, is that they will tell Beyonce and Nicki Minaj will tell them to chill out, and they'll be like, "Shut up, bitch," and still do.
It's still rip. Yeah,
it's that bad.
Yeah, like it's.
Didn't one lady get punched in the mouth? Like she was getting ready to scream, and then they literally leaned over and punched her right in the mouth for.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That was New Orleans, I think.
See?
I was in New Orleans too when I happened. Like,
but it was so it's like so much stuff. But Beyonce does not say in her stuff that she did have a lot of letters and stuff like what to wear, how things like that. However, ain't none of that say if a bitch speak when I say mute, punch him in the face. They didn't say that.
No, but when you say, hey, this city is the best at when Beyonce says this city did better at the mute challenge than this city.
It's a challenge.
Cities are gonna compete when she shows up, and you're not causing it, but you're
inciting
it's kind of like
you're inciting the fact that
like
I didn't think that it would get honestly
physical,
like I knew that we were taking it very seriously, but I thought it was serious fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Trump
like
didn't say storm the Capitol, but he incited a riot when he didn't say.
But he also didn't stop it or tell them
he also didn't
But
stop
you also have to consider whether Beyonce knew that these things were happening. The tour's over now. She might be hearing that it's happening.
Because she didn't take the mute challenge out of her tour, so that way people wouldn't punch somebody else in the mouth.
But that stuff wasn't going on.
I was about to say, you're assuming she knew though, because a lot of times people unplugged from social media and they just doing their thing.
Well, she probably has somebody that's working for her, but it's like something she would plug in, plug out of, from what you see. However, the stuff of calling the girl's job, getting her fired, things like that.
I'm sure she'll call back and get her a new job.
About her
tour for that. Why does my job care, bitch? Like,
right? What
the job probably fired her.
It was probably
fired her because people kept calling.
Yeah,
because of the frequent calling, like they got a hold of her stuff. Now, but I don't see how. Now, I will say you have people do that when you have like the racist people doing stuff, and the man on TikTok, he's like, "Hey, give me the information," and we're gonna blow this person's
right. We're gonna find this Karen and we gonna
To me, I feel like it's a lot of people off, online but offline from Beyonce and all these other people that are willing to do all of this stuff. I don't think that that's necessarily a cult. I just think that that's people being stupid. I do believe that influence, it's not always cult related, but the influence people have, the people they have on people kind of causes that type of stuff. The stuff that you see Beyonce or Nicki Minaj fans doing, the crazy stuff that you see even Taylor Swift's fans are doing. They just went to a game. Yeah, the Swifts, they going to a darn game. Ain't none of them, they don't know.
They don't give a fuck about football.
But so look, listen to what we're saying though. I mean, here's why I would classify you have they are a leader, whether they say they give orders to do something or not. As soon as you create a fan base, like you have a fan base, and then you create one by calling them a name. Doja Cat, the Kittens, Swifties, the Barbs. You are denoting that I have Rihanna, the Navy. You're denoting that I have certain people behind me that's gonna do a thing when I get ready for them to go.
Whatever.
They're gonna pay what they need to pay to see me.
They're gonna follow me across the country, across the world. If so, one lady literally recorded or she did a blog on her leaving New York. She followed Beyonce to New York. She didn't buy her tickets when she got down to Houston because she thought that they would be able to sell tickets at the door, and then she got down here and realized
why was she
Houston sold out as soon as it dropped.
Because she wanted to follow Beyonce. I don't know.
But listen, consider. I mean, I know why the tickets cost so much because the bitch was making a movie. But come to find out, that's gonna be.
I don't even think the movie had anything to do with it. I just think because it was Beyonce, it was her.
Yeah,
I think so in part, but also because this is what we do. Movies cost a lot of money to make. I'm sorry, and to get a partnership with she got to recoup the potential loss of that movie not doing well in theaters, and I think she did it through the concert. Right. But regardless of however why she charged as much
because she can
consider the fact that some of those tickets were $4,000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably cheap,
and people paid it. And some people paid it in multiple. See, I paid a couple. I bought multiple tickets in 2 cities, but some people paid that $4,000 in multiple.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And I think like Mary J. Blige, I think she getting ready to try to go on tour, do something, and somebody was like, her ticket's $500. Why is her ticket's $500?
Janet Jackson tickets is crazy high too.
She's supposed to be an icon, right. But you won't.
She doesn't have the Mary J.
Monet
I'm not gonna spend it either. Like I spend it on Beyonce, I'm not gonna spend it on Mary J.
I mean, Monet going on tour, so we don't know who Monet gonna bring with her.
As long as she ain't acting, I'm fine. The moment she start acting,
Usher. When he goes on tour, I'd like to see that.
So I mean, we got off. We only got the one
neither here nor there. Well, no, I asked two. I asked Trump, and then I asked,
Oh, okay. I thought that was a segue from that was a part.
No. That was the second one. One. It was just those are like two in real time kind of cult and cultures that we see on a daily basis. That we kind of look at as normal. Like we do look at some of the crazier people as being crazier people. And like that's where Swarm came from as a movie, was about the crazier of the crazy. But it still looked as normal. No one has said, oh, Beyonce having a fan base is weird. You know what I mean? Or, Nicki Minaj having a fan base is odd. No, it's looked at as normal. Yeah. Until you get in there.
But we can't
put each other against each other.
But it's like, well, Cardi and Nicki's, Jesus, they go hard for each other. However, a lot of this stuff is kind of normal. It's just starting to be really put out there online. I remember going in
exposed. I
had friends who loved Trey Songz. I like Trey Songz, but I am not paying for no membership to be one of his angels. I'm not doing it. But he had Trey's Angels. All of this stuff is kind of normal to people. It's just magnified now because of social media.
I mean, I think also the fact that there is something to be said for the fact that Beyonce fans, Nicki Minaj fans, and midway Rihanna fans lose their fucking minds about stuff. Like I know. Trust me. I remember I was on Twitter one day and I was tweeting that 2012's video, Chris Brown 2012. That video sucked for the song. It was a sex song, and he made a video about going to war. Nigga, what? Anyway. And this girl who was like a diehard fan tweeted me back and was like, well, you could just unfollow me then, and telling me all the ways that the video was great.
You could unfollow me.
That's like normal fan stuff, right? That's like,
right.
It's still a little sick, but it's normal fan stuff. But when you start telling the star to shut up because you're defending them,
right?
We have a problem now. Like,
because he's no longer in control. They're no longer.
You're willing to go to jail for them. That's a
right.
fault.
And I promise you, they're not willing to do the same. And I think that's
and they're not getting you out either.
Right, exactly.
But
no.
But I mean, like, we have those different big out of control type fans, as well as is looked at as normal, just like us going to church for 3 to 4 to 5 hours is normal. They make that normal.
That's normal for y'all. I'm going 45 minutes.
Baby, Mom, can we go?
I sat in a church and I said, I was texting somebody. I was like, hey, what you doing? They were like, eating. I said, what are you eating?
Wish I could do that.
Yeah, I was like, what are you eating? They were like, chips. I said, how they taste?
I'm dead. I don't even remember what food tastes like.
I was like, I'm hungry.
That's hilarious.
But I really enjoyed this conversation, guys.
It's a good conversation. On that note, for more content like this, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, freaking X, or whatever. Did it go back to Twitter? I don't know.
It ain't go under yet. We don't know.
Yeah. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe on all major platforms. Check us out on YouTube. Check out our other videos. And Thursday trivia, we're doing Harry Potter trivia on Thursday, live at 9 p.m. Next week we'll be talking about what's up. What you got?
Is that going to be like the entire series of Harry Potter, or are you going to cap that shit at like 1-2 books?
It's got to be the series exists.
You only seen goddamn Sorcerer's Stone.
The movies exist.
No, he's seen all of them.
No, I'm not going to cap it. I'm not going to cap it. Why would I cap it?
Because that's a lot of goddamn questions that, like,
I didn't say I was going to ask everything about Harry Potter. I'm going to ask 20 questions about Harry Potter.
You got the big ass all of them at Barnes and Noble and shit.
Yeah.
All of these questions, I will not know a single thing. So I will be there for moral support.
Like, I'm going to ask a question from here, a question from there, a question from this movie, a question from that book, and we move forward from there. Next week on the podcast, we will be talking about witchcraft. Witches. Yeah, in the Black community. You can check out the guys at the Trap House. They are talking about fill in the blank, Rich. Yeah, that's you.
We don't know yet.
Well, the episode y'all just did.
So we just dropped one. We talked about the legendary items that you might want. As you can see, I chose the Dragon Balls because they're literally right behind me. If it actually exists, which one would you choose?
Here we go. So y'all will be able to catch that on Saturday night. Shay and I are keeping it real. We just recorded Blood and Honey, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey review. So if you really like terrible horror films, you should head on over there and check those out.
This is our first ever 5-star review. So y'all must go watch that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably the movie's first ever 5-star review too.
It is.
But yes, until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay unapologetically Black. Have a good night. Peace.